Right. If you played this game back in the day, you'll probably know how bad it is, but also so much fun. Proper arcade, 90s arcade. It's great. Terrible music. Not sure you can beat it. And my overlays have come straight from Cruis'n USA as well. Oh, Al, you can't be saying that, mate. This is a classic. What's wrong with your eyes, Al? Can't you see a classic-looking game where it comes out and bites you? This is proper mid-90s arcade. Packaged up. You must have played this at some point, mate. It's such a nice kind of like just chill out game to play where you haven't got to think about too much. I think Cruis'n World is probably my favourite out of the whole thing, but this one's just nice and yeah, it was pretty big in the arcade, this game, before it got ported into, I mean, more in America than over here. It was just so much fun to play, and you'll recognise the girl that comes up now because she's also my my overlay girl.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
But the yeah, Cruis'n World was great because you obviously had a bit more variety with the circuits and stuff, and there was tons of unlockables as well. Right, come on then, what's next? Whereas obviously in this one it's a bit more, you don't really see much of a difference in the backdrops. Well, you do, but it's more progressive.
We've got real excitement coming up now.
Oh, there she is. Speak of the devil. Cheers, Billy, mate. How was your stream this morning, mate?
Check it out, San Francisco.
In your own stream, you just type /raid and then the name of the channel you want to raid, and it just automatically moves everyone from your channel to whoever you're raiding. Or if you're using the streamer dashboard on Twitch, you can just click the raid button. So we'll be streaming some proper racing tonight. Just having a bit of a relax this morning. Playing something that doesn't hurt my brain. It might hurt your eyes, Al, but it doesn't hurt my brain. I can't remember if you've got to win to progress to the next stage. I really can't remember. In the arcade, if you won, you got a free credit, so maybe you still progress anyway. I think there's just something wonderful about the vibrant colours of mid to late 90s arcade games. To me, this is what games should look like. This is what it's all about. So yeah, this was the first in the series, and then there was Cruis'n World, and then they did Cruis'n Exotica, and the locations got crazier and crazier as they went through. Where are we now? They all look the same from the beginning. Ironically, for those who don't know, the N64 version of the girl at the end is censored down. And that's the version I use on my stream as well. The arcade version, she was actually wearing a bikini. And she was a porn star, which is a true fact you can take away. Forget her name. But in the arcade version as well, you used to have there'd be like animals running across the road, and you could do roadkill. You just run over them and like bloody limbs go flying around. But again, that was removed for the N64 version because Nintendo apparently back in the mid to late 90s couldn't deal with anything remotely adult. I'm pretty sure this was one of the best-selling N64 games as well, ridiculously. I think part of the reason for that was because there wasn't an awful lot out on the N64 when it came out. Certainly not many. I mean, the N64 wasn't really known for having an amazing library of racing games anyway. I don't know if there's any. One of my favourite games, Bill, Cruis'n USA, and you'll recognise the girl from my stream. We were playing F1 World Grand Prix earlier, but we were having some issues with, I think, emulation issues, but we were getting too much delay on the button inputs, which randomly we don't seem to get in here. But there was it was really weird. It was like turbo lag when you press. Oh god, this track looks difficult. Yeah, you press this accelerator and there was like a big delay before you actually accelerated. So we switched over to Cruis'n, which, as I said, is a guilty pleasure of mine, always has been. Nice chill out game for Saturday morning. I had Cruis'n World on N64 when I was younger, and me and a group of guys used to play that in 4-player split screen all the time. It used to be our Sunday morning game, like pretty much every weekend. It was so good, because you ended up unlocking ridiculous vehicles like Hummers and rickshaws, police cars, taxis, all sorts. I don't know if there are many unlockables in Cruis'n USA compared to World, because as I said, it was a bit of a rushed release, this one, to get out for the N64 launch. Yeah, how was your stream this morning, Billy?
Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Morning, Roasters. Beverly Hills now.
Ready, set, go!
I remember the arcade cabinet for this as well was like one of those stand-up steering wheel setups.
Ooh, Hollywood.
Which was the most uncomfortable thing in the world to use.
Whoa!
In Cruis'n World at the end, you used to you drive through Florida into Cape Canaveral, and then you'd get on a space shuttle, and it would fly you to the moon. And the last track was on the moon with like zero gravity and stuff, which is or low gravity, which is pretty hilarious. I suppose I could see why this game didn't review particularly well, because yeah, there wasn't an awful lot of depth to it.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Determined to finish the Cruis'n USA mode on here. I think the controls are really good on this game though, like really responsive, which is a big criticism of a lot of games back in, again, the mid to late 90s. I'm pretty sure when this game came out, it was one of the things it got praised for actually, was the responsiveness of the controls on it. But if I won the lottery and I built myself an arcade, this would 100% be one of the cabinets that I would buy. Really good fun. They did make a new Cruis'n game a couple years ago. Arcade. Sadly not been ported yet. Was hoping for a Switch port, but it doesn't look like that's happening, unfortunately. It plays really well actually. It plays very similar to the originals, which if you're a fan of the series is kind of what you want. Maybe one day.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame. Ready, set, go!
Just love how unnecessary having a girl in a bikini is to wave the checker flag. Also interesting that she's waving the checkered flag at the beginning of the race rather than at the end. Into the desert now. Must be Arizona or something like that. But yeah, I think that's partly one of the problems with gaming nowadays. It's like, yes, modern games are amazing, and you know, from a technology standpoint, some of the stuff they do now is just outstanding. But sometimes they just overcomplicate things for the sake of it, and sometimes you just want to pick up and play something. Like even half the indie games nowadays try and be way too complex. But yeah, picking up something like this and just playing something where it handles really nicely, you know, doesn't require you to invest too much time in learning circuits. There's a time and a place for everything. And this is great fun, in my opinion. That map seems to indicate there's a lot more tracks than there actually are. I'm pretty sure there was only like 12 races in the Cruis'n USA mode. Could be wrong. But now we're in Arizona. Yeah, not much variety in the vehicles in Cruis'n USA compared to Cruis'n Worlds. Mate, how have you never heard of this game? Although saying that, I'd say it was never massively popular in the UK and in Europe. It was, but I'm led to believe that in the States it was hugely popular. The arcade version definitely runs a lot nicer than this N64 version, but let's find what we need. Oh, Micro Machines, yeah, that was a great game. I played a lot of that with my friends when I was younger as well. A lot of arguments on Micro Machines on the Mega Drive. Ironically, I think, despite what I just said, I think when I was playing games in the late 90s, I was always looking for that sort of realistic experience, because, you know, as you said, come on, because the early 90s was very much about arcadey games like this and like Micro Machines, and then as the 90s went on and we got into the early 2000s, it was about how can you find the most realistic game possible, and as I use the term realistic loosely, but things like Gran Turismo, you know, the Formula 1 games, that was what spent most of my attention, because I'd done the arcadey stuff. And I think it was entering a time where, you know, more realistic games were starting to become a bit more possible with the technology that we had. Grand Canyon. Like, I remember playing Gran Turismo for the first time and being like, oh my god, graphics are never going to get any better. Because that was just such a game changer. Because you went from something like this, basically, to what was then as close to photorealistic as you were going to get. Yeah, Micro Machines is a good one. Did you ever play it sharing controllers? So you'd have one person using like the half the controller, the other person using the other half. So you could get like 8 of you playing with 4 pads. That was bonkers.
We're gonna crash! Checkpoint!
There's a really good article about Cruis'n World where they said that they sent all of the design team like all around the world to take photos of all these landmarks just so they could put it in the game.
Take it!
Oh no, get out of the way, get out of the way, oh no! Oh, this is desperate for me not to win this race. Which version of Micro Machines did you play, Speedworks? I remember it was the Army version which came out on the Mega Drive, and it had like the built-in multi-tap into the cartridge, so you didn't need a second multi-tap. You could just plug 2 more controllers in on top of the cartridge. That was pretty cool for the time.
Ready, set, go!
That was bad. I think overall they did a really good job of like modeling the landscapes in this game to make them look, you know, resemble at least the venue it's supposed to do, especially again in World. Like they had the London, it wasn't really London, but you know what Americans are like in London, but it had the like British cobbled streets with British post boxes, and they had Stonehenge in it you drove past. Micro Machines 2, yeah, that was the one I remember, I think. Oh man, this is not a good race for me. Yeah, the Mega Drive was had some good races back in the mid '90s. Remember Lotus Challenge as well. But it was definitely the PlayStation for me is. I remember the PlayStation as a racing console, a racing game console, man. Like, it just did so much to, you know, to move that genre forward in the same way that the N64 did for like 3D platformers and stuff and 3D adventure games. That was a weakness of the PlayStation for sure. Yeah, I think I'll move on to that, Billy. I think my next retro Formula 1 stream will be Monaco Grand Prix, to be honest. Try and do it on Dreamcast, because that was the version I played the most. I really like Monaco Grand Prix, it's just a shame they didn't have the license. That's what let it down for the most part. Yeah, those Gran Turismo games were so amazing back in the day. Like they did so much stuff back then that, you know, nowadays on racing games we kind of take as a normal thing, like, you know, licenses and challenges, buying and selling cars. I remember being able, you know, when that first came out, being able to buy and sell cars was just like so freaking awesome. The second-hand car market they had in Gran Turismo, and the car wash. Car would get dirty after a while. I don't know how it holds up handling wise, but I suspect it's still pretty good because yeah, Gran Turismo 1 was so ahead of its time. I didn't really play PlayStation 2 an awful lot because I kind of switched to Dreamcast when Dreamcast came out in '99 and played Dreamcast for a couple of years, and then to be honest, the next sort of 2 years or so I was turning 17, so I wasn't really playing an awful lot of games back then. I kind of didn't really play much for a couple of years and then got back into it when I bought... I mean, I had a PS2 because I mostly used it as a DVD player, if I'm honest. And then got back into it with GameCube and Xbox. Oh, NASCAR Thunder. Everyone goes on about that, Billy. Right, coming to the end now.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
I remember as well Gran Turismo 2 on the PlayStation 1 had the second disc was a scratch and sniff disc, and it was supposed to smell like rubber.
Ready, set,
I'm pretty sure Borley had that, John. I never had Gran Turismo 2. I just had the original. But yeah, whilst I say I liked my serious racing games when I was playing games back then, I suppose around this time it was Mario Kart 64 time, which, as I've repeatedly said, pound for pound, if you had to choose a single game to be my favourite all-time game, I would always choose Mario Kart 64. If I could only play one game for the rest of my life, actually no, I'd probably play iRacing now, but as a game that I still always love, it's definitely Mario Kart 64. On Cruis'n World, the sequel to this, you could do like you could basically pop a wheelie by double tapping the gas pedal, and you could like do spins off other cars and stuff, which is really cool. Just trying to do it then, but remember they don't have it in here. Well, the computer cars have woken up a bit anyway. Oh. As they continue to crash. Got to keep our 100% winning record up.
go for it.
Nice. That guy getting wiped out by that truck helped us. Nice. I also remember the arcade version of this game at the end. You basically drive into DC and you get to the White House, and on the top of the White House is Clinton in a hot tub with a bikini-clad Hillary and Monica next to him. Again, I'm pretty sure that was censored in the N64 version, but we'll soon find out. Where are we now?
Ready, set,
Malaysia. Yeah, it's amazing how much more varied the tracks are in Cruis'n USA, Cruis'n World compared to Cruis'n USA. I mean, it's understandable, but they're so different in that game compared to this one. The other games I've been thinking of streaming on a weekend are the touring car games, the British touring car games, TOCA. I don't know how well they hold up, but again, they were amazing back in the day. And It'll be quite interesting to drive all these British circuits now I've driven them in real life. To be fair, Codemasters absolutely killed it back in the day. The AI has gone back to just crashing themselves out again, which is good. Must be one more left, maybe?
Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Yep, this is the last one.
Set, go!
Let's see if the what the ending is. Watched a monument over there, White House. And a war memorial. Checkpoint! Right, let's see. Do we get Bill in a hot tub? I'm pretty sure we don't. Good. And I didn't mean you, Billy.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
23 minutes to go coast to coast. Let's have a look at that victory celebration then. Here we go, White House. Ah, it's just the car. So yeah, in the arcade one, it was a hot tub there. Ah, we got a nice little upgrade. And there you go, folks. That was Cruis'n USA.
Hall of Fame.
Imagine spending 60 quid back in the day and completing the main game in 23 minutes. That's not incredible value for money, to be fair. You'd be pretty upset that you've just sampled everything the game's got to offer you in 23 minutes. Good fun though, really good fun. And as I said, definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. Definitely something that I'll play a few times a year. I'm not sure why I enjoy it so much, but I just do. Right, I think we're going to end the stream there. We'll probably be back tonight racing something a little bit more serious. Probably the Porsche 911 Cup tonight around Road America. So yeah, that's probably going to be the plan. unless we do some ovals instead, but I would probably suggest it's going to be Porsches. So if you are into your racing, your more serious racing, please come back, check us out later. Bye, Mother. Good to see you. Right. Thanks for checking it out, guys. I will speak to some of you later on.